Good evening. I appreciate everybody coming out here standing in the cold. I didn't realize this was going to be an outdoor event, so I left my jacket at home. I was in Frankfurt today. For the first 15 minutes, I was up here shaking uncontrollably, but now I'm under control. And I'm just happy to be here. You know, I was sitting there thinking, I was listening to these gentlemen speak, and I was thinking back to, I believe it was 1993, 94, when Bill Natcher passed away, and there was a revolution going on in Washington, D.C. We've heard talk about Ronald Reagan. My hero is none other than Newt Gingrich. I think he is the man, and he started a revolution back in 94, and he took over the House of Representatives, and he had that compact with America, and that was the right time to do what happened at that time. And here in Warren County, that sort of was the trigger for things. You saw the shift in the way people acted, the way people voted, and the way people thought about their elected leaders. Because it was soon after that we elected our first ever Republican county judge executive here in Warren County. And then it wasn't long after that we elected Brett Guthrie to go to Kentucky Senate, the seat that these two gentlemen are vying for. And then it wasn't long after that the first House member, Republican House member for Warren County was elected. And every vote counts. I know that better than anyone. My first election, and some of you, I've seen some faces here that were here with me at the very first campaign. 185 votes is what I won my first election by. But it shocked Kentucky, and it was a pivotal moment in Warren County because that was sort of said, you know what, Warren County is a conservative county. This isn't Democrat, Republican thing in my mind. On paper it is, but it's really about conservatives versus the liberal. And we're talking about the most liberal of the liberal. We have them in Frankfurt, we have them in Washington, D.C. Now, I'm up for re-election in 2010, and I think 2010 is going to be a stellar year for Republicans, starting tonight with some of the elections that are going on across the country. They're going to show that our president doesn't have the clout that he thinks he has, and that he wants to think he has. Tonight's going to be the beginning of the end, hopefully, for the liberals that are running our nation and this state. 2010, pivotal year for not only the Kentucky Senate. We have to get the 32nd seat back. Why? Nobody's talked about it, but I'm going to talk about it because in 2011, that's when they redistrict. That's when they do the gerrymander. And if the Republicans can hang on to the Senate, we have some say in how the district lines are drawn, not just for the state seats, but also for the federal seats, the Congress, the congressional seats. So that's why this seat is so important. And whichever one of these guys wins the primary, we all need to get behind them and support them because we need to get this seat back. We need to make sure we hang on to the Senate, and at the same time, talk about the Kentucky House of Representatives. We need to build momentum there. When I came into the House in 2005, we had 44 seats. Anything over 40, we're relevant. 51 is great. We elect the Speaker of the House. But anything over 40, we're relative. We have a say in what happens in the House of Representatives. We're at 36 right now, but we feel like this is going to be a good year for House Republicans to pick up some seats. And we're looking at races all over the state, including this area. So keep your eyes open and your ears peeled because we need to pick up more seats. I'm going to be running again this year. Hopefully I won't have a primary opponent, and I expect to have an opponent in the general election like I do every other year. They've come after me twice now. I don't count the first time. And they brought everything they've had at me. They've gone after my character. They've gone after my job. You know, they will not stop at anything to destroy another person's character and the work that they do. Fortunately, these guys right here aren't acting like a bunch of liberals. If you look at the U.S. Senate seat on the Democrat side, you got Monjardo and Conway. They're going after each other every day. We've got to set the standard. We've got to show that we can win. We can support each other even when we fail and move on to the next step. So keep that in mind. We've got a long year ahead of us, 365 days from tonight. I'd appreciate it if you go to the polls, vote for some of these guys, but most definitely vote for Jim DeCesare for state representative. I really would appreciate it. Thank you all for being here.